Hey there, it's Susie Daphnis here. Welcome to our Monday Member Spotlight. It's been a few weeks since we have featured one of our members here on this spotlight, and I'm very excited to introduce you to someone today whose growth I have watched over the last 18 months. And she is knocking on the door of a six-figure year, and she's only just 6 months into it. So these sessions are a great way for you to get behind the scenes of another woman business owner. And this particular part of our series, we're really looking at women who have changed up something, either what they're doing in their business or the way they're thinking or the way that they're approaching their planning or their marketing or their systems or their technology or their team, to really start to break through a new level in their business. So whether you've been in business, just a little bit of time and you're still finding your feet, or whether you've been in business for years, one of the things that we can start to see is that we have these little itty bitty gains. But now and then we land on something that really allows us to make bigger leaps, whether it's in our income, our reach, our team size, the efficiency of our business, the amount of work-life balance we have. So that's what we're going to be exploring in this series. So watch out for these Monday morning member spotlights. So I'm going to welcome our guest today, the lovely Angela Counsel. Angela, hello, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me, Susie.
I'm so excited to be here. Tina Tower, good morning, gorgeous woman. Tina's watching. Now, Tina, I know you've been bailed up in bed unwell, so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Angela.
So, as Susie said, I'm Angela Counsel. I'm a naturopath and a menopause coach, and I support women as they move through their menopause transition to embrace the changes that are happening to their body so that they can actually have great health as they age. And I do this using a 10-week online program, which is based around genetic-based personalized health and lifestyle options.
And I know that Angela's, we were just talking offline, and she's almost at the end of this program. We're going to tell you how to find out details about her next program soon. But this is an intensive program. I know a number of our members who've gone through it, who have these huge transformations in their ability to manage their belly, to feel better, to get energy back. And we'll talk a little more about that. But what I like to do when I interview members is to really dive into who is it that they serve, because at Her Business, we are on about knowing who your ideal client is. Because once we know our ideal client, then everything becomes so much easier. So given your work with women in menopause, we can kind of guess who your ideal client is, but tell us a little bit about her. Tell us a little about her. What's going on with her?
So she is a woman. She's generally between the ages of 45 and 65. So she's either just kind of starting to notice that her body's changed due to what we call perimenopause, so the period before menopause, or sometimes some of my women have actually moved all the way through and they are postmenopausal. But where the similarities come is just generally they're holding on to this extra weight that they can't lose, or they've got these different symptoms which are often associated with a menopause, things like hot flushes, sleeping problems, or joint pain. So it's, they're all experiencing those type of issues, and they're not really interested in HRT. If they're on HRT, it's not really working for them, but they're looking for a more natural approach and more about setting themselves up for healthy life as they age.
So we can hear that Angela really knows her ideal client, and I happen to know that she's done a lot of work to get that granular with who her ideal client is. And the way that Angela serves them is through this 10-week program, the Embrace program. And so she, to give you a really quick synopsis of how it works, she runs a free online challenge a few times a year. In that program, you get loads of value and understanding around menopause and what it means for you and how it works. And then at the end of that workshop, if you are a good fit for the program, you can apply to be one of the people that Angela works with on a more hands-on basis. And there's typically 30, 40 or more women in that program, but the program is designed so that every single person gets their own personalized program for their menopause symptoms. And we're going to talk about, as I said, when the next program is coming in. Now, we've seen immense growth in the number of women taking up Angela's offer, the number of strategic alliances that she's doing inside of the network, the amount of women that are showing up in her workshop. And she's gone from one, I can't remember the number you gave me, Angela. Like you had a goal to get your message in front of X number of people a year, and then you blew past it. Can you remember those numbers that you told me?
Yes. So when I first joined her business, which was just on 2 years, just over 2 years ago, I wanted to get my message in front of 1,000 women. And that was just my message. That wasn't just into my program. That was just my message in front of 1,000 women. That was my goal. Now I've had about 3,000 women just go through my free workshop. On my list, I'm now hitting 7,000 on my list. So well and truly blew that 1,000 mark out of the water.
And I happen to know, because Angela's part of our marketing mastermind program, that she has had such a dedication to dialing in her messaging, really understanding her ideal client. And they're the sorts of things that we're helping women with every day. How do I define what my program is? Because we're seeing a lot of women creating online courses, but there's one thing to create a great course, and it's a totally other thing to get people buying it. So as we said, Angela's like knocking on the door of a 6-figure year, which is fantastic. And we'll definitely blow past that based on where I know she is right now. And it's just you and a virtual assistant at the time. Is that right?
I've got a part-time VA, and when I run my program, I do have another coach who supports me. She's also a chef, so I do have her. She comes in and helps me with the programs.
Perfect. And so as you can hear, she's a solopreneur, but she's outsourcing the right things so that she can focus on making the most of the relationships that she has with her customers. I love that. How has your thinking changed as you've dialed in what your messaging is, you determine your products, you've really gotten focused on growing this business and going past that 6-figure number?
Well, it's changed a lot, thanks to you and Michelle and Mastermind. I used to be someone that used to chase everything. So, I did every course there was to be done. I've got a very strong systems background. So I used to work in IT. So I know every different system that you could use. And I used to do bits of everything, but I was kind of doing everything and achieving nothing much. So what's really changed now, and particularly as I've come into Mastermind, it is really a lot more about the strategy. Now, I've grown a business in the past really, really quickly, and I didn't think about it. It just grew, and that just burnt me out. But now what I look at is, why am I doing things? Why everything's got a purpose. So I've got my big kahuna. So everything I'm doing is about meeting that.
I'll explain the big kahuna. I'll explain the big kahuna. That's an insider term. If you're a Her Business member, you know this term. Your big kahuna is your big 12-month goal. It's the one thing that if you achieved it in 12 months would revolutionize your business. And this is something we set with members every year, and it gives you some accountability and some focus. So you set your big kahuna. Keep going.
Yep. So I set my big kahuna, which for this year, and when we're talking the year, I'm talking January to December, was to support 80 women through my programs, to be able to pay myself a salary and still make a profit. So I'm on track to do all of that. But now I've got that kind of that goal of what I'm trying to achieve. Everything I do is about that. So my strategies, I don't bring any new technology in. I don't do any new systems unless it's moving me towards that goal. Whereas in the past, I was very much, do this and then do this, and I'd start something and I didn't finish it, or I'd do it and it didn't succeed, or I'd do it once and I'd get bored. Now, and even though, running the program over and over and over again, I'm losing the challenge on that, but the challenge for me is to actually stay focused on it and not go off on something else. So I kind of have to do a challenge there.
But you're seeing the rewards of that. And so what can happen so often is we do something and maybe we get the results we want, but maybe we don't. So we go, okay, I'm going to go look over here. I'm going to try this other model. And the key is, and again, what we teach inside of Her Business is that when you create something, that is part of it. Then you need to learn to market it. And that's where we provide lots of support and coaching and accountability to do that. But the ability to set your sight on a vision, as Angela did, and to stay with it is a key to success, that consistent attention to moving the needle towards your big kahuna. And once again, if you've just joined us, a big kahuna, we're letting you inside our little Her Business world. in explaining your big kahuna is your big 12-month goal. The word kahuna comes from the Hawaiian word for chief. So your big kahuna is that big thing that you're going to achieve in 12 months. Now, we've just started a new financial year as this is going to air. So I'm going to ask you, what is your big kahuna for the next 12 months? And getting really clear on that and aligning your strategic objectives with that, aligning your programs, your promotions, any activity with that means that you don't go off in a million different directions. Like Angela, you start to see you're getting momentum because you're focusing on the important things. So your thinking has changed. You've got a different direction. What are you doing differently? Like, what have you changed? You already told us you're very systems based. What is it that you're actually doing differently in your business to be having more fun, to be more profitable, to be more efficient?
Actually, I'm doing a hell of a lot less.
I like that.
Which in itself is really, that was a real mindset shift for me, because I've spent so many years pushing and pushing and pushing. And if I wasn't working hard, and if I wasn't doing a lot, then I wasn't being successful. But now, because I've created so many systems and, I've built repeatable tasks inside systems, I have a VA who does other repeatable tasks for me. I've let go of a lot of things, and I've worked with VAs in the past, but I never would let go of things. This time, I completely let go, and I just I give her tasks to do. She does it. So I trust that she does that she can do what she says she can do, and if she doesn't, she'll come back to me. So that was a real mindset shift for me as well, thinking, well, at the past I used to think I have to do it all, and no one can do it as good as me, and that's not true. We've all got our zone of genius. I know what I do well, and I know what my VA does well, and she does social media a hell of a lot better than I do, so I allow her to do that. And I actually have a lot more spare time, and for me then means that I can do more time stuff for me. And it also gives me time to think about and think a little bit more strategically about what I'm going to do next and where I'm going to go. And so it's really, the biggest change is the fact that I have more time to myself. I work so much.
I love it.
I mean, I only really work a couple of days a week, apart from the days that I turn up with clients. And that's only one night a week for an hour. I turn up and do a group call, because I don't do one-on-one work anymore either. So that took a whole pile of work off as well.
Because when I first met Angela, she was doing some one-on-one consulting, but now she's going to really focus. Now, it doesn't mean that she won't develop other product streams down the line, but she's dialing this in. She's getting this working. She's getting people to attracted to her offer. She's making conversions, and then she's keeping those people and getting referrals. And that's a very different way to think about it. I just want to share a couple of the comments here. Tina, we're going to come back to you. Tina's in her early 40s. I happen to know Tina quite well. I get so scared hearing about this. There are upsides too, right? We're going to come back to that. We're going to give you an opportunity to learn more about Angela's program. And Nadine says, this is so good to hear because I'm doing all the things at the moment. Yeah. And Felicity saying a good reminder to refocus on my big kahuna. Yeah, fantastic, Felicity. You've got your big kahuna, I know, because Felicity is a member of the Her Business Network. And she happens to be a Milner. She's based in Broome. And so she's very much a part of our programs. So yeah, that big kahuna needs to be that guiding light. This is where I'm going in the next 12 months. Yes, and Tina's quoting one of her business mantra, which is do less and obsess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, as we said, you are growing your business. Is there anything right now that's kind of a niggling thing for you, like that still frustrates you, that we might be able to offer some support in right here, right now? When it comes to growing your business, what is your biggest challenge or frustration at the moment?
My biggest challenge right now is what's the next step. And because I'm going through a lot of changes in my personal life. My youngest daughter's about to finish high school. We're selling up and we're moving. And it's like, so there's a big change going on in my life. And it's like, what's the next step? So I've created this program. I know it works well. I know it gets results, but where do I take it? And that's kind of where I am at the moment. It's like, what do I do next? And so
I love that.
I'm hoping that that's going to come to me. I'm waiting for that to come to me. But it is what's the next step? Because it's like, well, if I take it any bigger, I need to bring more people in. How do I work that? How do I pull myself a little bit more out of even the face-to-face work? Because at the moment I am my program. Can I
Yes.
bring other people in, or can I train other people to do what I do? Can I get what's in my head and share it to other people so they can do it? So lots of that type of stuff going on at the moment.
Really good questions, though, right? Really good questions. How do I do less? How do I keep the revenue coming in, the results happening, these transformations happening without me having to do it? And so I think you're asking all the right questions. I think you're in the right environment inside of her business to help resolve some of those questions, because either there's other people role modeling that or just having that sounding board. So I think they're really great questions. And so you're not looking at how do I put more on my plate, but how do I do what I'm doing
No,
better
not
and
less.
leave a legacy? Now, you've been a member of the Her Business Network at least 18 months now. Tell us a little bit about
Yep.
what being part of the network, how that serves you in your business.
It's actually made a massive difference. And I used to do lots of, the local networking groups, and you go to a networking group and you meet people and you do your coffee things and all of that. But because of the type of business that I run, because I have an online business, it really, those type of networking groups were very limited because they only kind of had clients in the area. When I came into her business, now all of a sudden I've got other businesses all over Australia and all over the world. So for me, it actually widened my network, and I have quite a few really strong alliances with other businesses. Anita McLaughlin, the both of us, we backward and forward. I share content for her. I'm one of her group experts. She refers clients to me. Fiona Keary, I've done the same with her. So I actually have quite a few strategic partnerships where we help each other out. And then obviously the mastermind, that's her business has given me the mastermind, which has completely changed my life completely. And also it gives me the opportunity to find resources when I need them. Because the other day I was looking for someone to help me do some content, and I just put a post in the group, and I've got a couple of people to have a chat. I'm talking to someone today. I can have a chat to about whether or not they can do that piece of work for me. So it's kind of gives me resources, it's given me partners, it's given me support. So it kind of gives me everything, and I don't have to get out of my pajamas to do it.
That's absolutely true, because it's all available there for you online. And you made some really great points, because finding resources, finding strategic alliances, sometimes we don't make what's available to us available. So maybe you're watching and you've joined your industry association or you've joined a network, but you're not actually showing up and making what's available there available. And now seeing members every single day doing what Angela's doing. They're creating strategic alliances. Because we're a network of women business owners, we're not all in the same industry, but you find people who have the similar ideal client to you, whether that's an HR manager in a corporation, whether it's a woman of a certain age, whether it's children with particular learning challenges. And then you can partner, because you're not competing, to work together to promote each other's services. And that's happening every single day. The other thing is, whether you need a graphic designer or a home loan or a bookkeeper, there's likely someone in the network or someone in the network who knows someone who can support you with that. All right, very, very good. I do want to give you the opportunity to tell us about your program. And actually, just if you are watching and you're not part of the Her Business Network, I do want to let you know that while you can't join the Her Business Network right now, we are going to open up the doors in about 8 weeks, I think it is. And so if you head on over to herbusinessnetwork.com, you can request to join the priority notification list. And then when we are taking new members, we'll send you an invitation to join. So that's how you learn more about that. So tell us, Angela, a little bit about the program and the problem it typically solves for the women that you work with.
Okay, so my Embrace program, my 10-week program, Tina, there are lots of upsides. I'll just let you know that. There's lots of upsides, so many upsides. So first off, I do run a free 5-day workshop, which is basically the secret to thriving in menopause. And I actually use the Jeff Walker PLF format to do that. But the aim of that, for most women that come into that, they kind of come in trying to lose their meno belly. That's where they come in. But once they get into the Embrace program, it's so much more than that. It's about connecting back to who they are, to actually starting to learn more about their body, their hormones. And when they start to make some simple changes to their diet, to their lifestyle, these symptoms just start to disappear. And what they're doing is they're just bringing their body back into balance using food, lifestyle, sleep, reducing toxins and things like that.
Right.
And the body just comes back into balance. We don't need to be taking extra things. I rarely even, as a naturopath, I rarely even prescribe supplements or herbs, because we can do the majority of it by just knowing the right thing for you. And that's why I use genetic-based personalized health. When we look at your individual genetic makeup, we can determine the right food. So that's kind of what I do. And I just, women get amazing results. It's not just about weight loss. As I said, most come in for weight loss, but they come out at the end and they say, this was so much more than weight. This was so much more than food. And they come in, they come in, feeling yuck. They go out knowing who they are and a full acceptance of who they are, and understanding that they are an individual and they don't have to be like anybody else. And that's probably the biggest win that women have, is it's like, oh, it's okay for me to be me.
And what I've realized, go ahead. Well, the women who I've seen who've gone through your program, they just have kind of a cellular shift, and it's not about, I'm going to deal with these symptoms and then they actually change their habits. They change the way that they approach food and nutrition and their own well-being, and they give themselves a level of self-care that they might have ignored for 10 years. And and this is not to prescribe results, but I have seen women shift kilos and kilos and kilos and kilos, and their whole face changes, but their demeanors also change because they're educated around the nutrition. They know what works for them individually, and they're not trying to buy into a particular fad. So it's really good.
It's the inner work that we do. A lot of inner work. It is the inner work, and when they attach back to themselves, connect back to themselves, it's amazing what women can achieve. And I find it sad that we kind of get to the middle of our life before we do this type of work. It'd be great if we did.
So it's very holistic, as you can hear, and it's just very holistic. And we mentioned earlier that Angela's going to crack well over the 6-figure mark this year. She's set up systems, support, a VA. She's reduced the number of offers that she makes so that she goes to market less frequently, but has a bigger impact. But she's also preaching, doing what she preaches, and that is she's allowing herself time to go on multi-day hikes and to nurture herself and to give herself what she loves, because she's setting up the business with her CEO hat on, like she's taking on board really running a business. Okay, because you can be a naturopath and that is your skill, but you're not acting as a business owner. But what we're seeing with Angela is that she's really moved into that. This is my business and this is how I'm going to run it. And this is the profitability it's going to have. And these are the products and services. These are the people I want to work with. And these are the people I don't have to work with. These are the things I'm going to offer, and these are things I'm going to park because it's just interfering with my ability to have this incredible business without burning myself out. So I know that for you, the rewards are those multi-day hikes as your business continues to run. And I look forward to seeing the next evolution where you step more and more away from the business and don't need to make every decision and still have the business running and having that less stress. I know you've got a program coming up on the 18th of September. I've put the link here on the screen, and we'll put it in the notes that accompany this video as well. You can now join the waitlist. And is this a low cost or a free workshop?
No, this is the free one. So this is the free 5-day workshop. Yep. And you can go on the waitlist now. Yep. And
then as soon as you're taking bookings, that they'll get a notification. And, plus you'll come into Angela's world. So you'll get to start to get little snippets of her brilliance and the work that she does so beautifully to support you as you're seeing these changes happening in your body and your life through menopause. And so I wanted to quote something that Angela said to me earlier. She said, as my income went up previously, so did the expenses. I just had to work harder and harder until I burnt myself out. And she said, this led her to shutting down her previous business and starting this business with a fresh approach. Now, if you're feeling burnt out and overwhelmed, we're not saying you need to shut down the business, but you really want to surround yourself with the people and the systems and the plans and the knowledge to start to really make those shifts so that you can have your ideal business without the burnout. As we finish up for today, Angela, anything you would like to say?
No, thanks for having me. It's been great. I always love chatting with you, Susie.
I love chatting with you too. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was the lovely Angela Counsel. I'm going to put that link here one more time. I recommend that you check out the workshop. Literally thousands of women have been taking this workshop and seeing incredible transformation in just the 5 days, and it's absolutely free. And then if it's right for you, then you want to go ahead and learn more about the Embrace program. That's where you get to work more deeply with Angela and get the benefits and results. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, go ahead and post them below, and I'll see you back here real soon. Bye for now.